Hey everybody, it's Jeremy and welcome to a new segment we're going to be doing calling Sipping with Jeremy. Here I'll be reviewing items that we carry at the store and giving you a little information along the way as well. And for our first episode, I thought a great fit would be a brand that I've been super excited about since I was introduced to them in 2019 and one that's become a regular buy for our whiskey customers, Redwood Empire. So based out of Granton, California, Redwood Empire was established in 2015. Their master distiller, Jeff Duckhorn, and head distiller, Lauren Patz, work with a column still to make whiskeys there, as well as sourcing whiskey from Kentucky, Indiana, and Tennessee to make their three expressions: the Pipedream Bourbon, the Emerald Giant Rye, and the Lost Monarch whiskey, which is a blend of bourbon and rye. And for those of you who are fans of outdoor activities, the characters on these bottles might look a little familiar. They are artist renditions of John Muir, aka the father of national parks. And this is done for a couple reasons. So first, they are named Redwood Empire. John Muir is a big reason why we have the Redwoods, but also because Redwood Empire, the whiskeys, works with treesforthefuture.org. So every bottle purchased of Redwood Empire means they are planting a tree. And this tree connection goes even further because each of these whiskeys is named after a tree that is in a national park. So let's start off with the Pipedream Bourbon. So the Pipedream Bourbon is a 4-grain bourbon made with corn, rye, malted barley, and wheat. About 75% of the mash bill is corn, and you're getting about 20% rye, and the rest is made up of that malted barley and wheat. The youngest bourbon that goes into this is 4 years old, and then the oldest is 14. A lot of toasted oak flavors up front. You get some softer kind of baking spices as well. Hints of dark cherry fruit there, softer cocoa nib aspects. And then the spice again comes back around on the finish, and this time you get a little bit more fennel and anise kind of flavors as well. One of the things I really do like about the Redwood Empire whiskeys is that they are a savory style, and this bourbon's a great example. You know, a lot of bourbons, you get a lot of like richer flavors. This one, you do get some softer cocoa nibs, as I said, softer cherry flavors, but that rye spice, that like fennel, anise, and just baking spice notes really pop a lot more. So it makes it a lot more of a savory kind of whiskey, savory style bourbon, which makes it great for cocktails, and then just gives you a little bit more of that kind of like drier finish as well. So now let's move on to the Emerald Giant. So this is a rye that is a blend of multiple ryes. You have your classic 95-5 rye, which means 95% rye, 5% corn to make the mash bill there. And then you also have some ryes that are 90% rye, and then an even split with that 10% of malted barley and wheat. And just to be 100% honest with everybody, Emerald Giant is my favorite of the core lineup from Redwood Empire. So yeah, one of the things I really enjoy about the Redwood Empire Emerald Giant is that they have what I like to call secondary rye characteristics. So typically with the rye whiskey, you can get that floral classic rye spice, and that's about it. But on this one, you're getting a lot of like anise, you're getting a lot of fennel, you're getting some like candied fennel notes in there too. Like you're getting this extra kind of spicy flavors that you don't typically get from a rye, especially if it's just that classic 95-5 rye. With this one, though, you're also getting a little bit of like a appley fruit, too, so there's a little bit of richness to it on the back end to kind of balance out those spice notes, but it's really just nice and spice forward, like I was saying, fennel, anise, candied fennel, so there's a little bit of a sweetness there, but that rye spice and just those little bit of apple fruit kind of really give you this nice texture. On the back end, you do get a little bit more of the toasted oak, you do get some softer cocoa, but overall, it's just this more spice-forward style. And last, but certainly not least, is the Lost Monarch. So I mentioned before, this is a blend of bourbon and rye. It's actually more rye heavy at 60% rye, 40% bourbon. And this is what Jeff Duckhorn, their master distiller, calls their gateway whiskey. So he's a big rye fan himself, so he wanted to make sure that rye was highlighted in this whiskey, but he did want to make sure it was soft and easy going for a lot of people. So the ryes he uses for this are only 4 to 5 years old, and then the bourbons he uses for this are between 4 and 12 years old. So you definitely get more bourbon forwardness on this, even though it is the lower percentage of the mash bill. It is the older whiskey, so it definitely seems like that takes the front of the lead. You get a lot of stone fruit notes in there. You get some softer kind of butterscotch flavors, a little bit of cocoa, but then the softer baking spices kind of move forward. You get a little bit of like a hay aspect to it. Then you get some really nice like fennel and anise, so kind of similar flavor profile for the rye aspects that you got in the Emerald Giant. Come out a little bit more here. There is a softer note of floral rye, so that classic kind of rye profile as well. That leaves your palate a little drier. It gives you a little bit more of that gray tea kind of flavor profile left on your taste buds. And that's going to conclude our first Sipping with Jeremy. Thank you for clicking on this. Below, you will find links for the 3 SKUs to our website, as well as blogs I've written about Redwood Empire. And then also you will find the link to our Happy Hour with Jeremy we did last year with Redwood Empire and special guest Jeff Duckhorn. We'll be doing these more often. Hope you all enjoy it. See you soon. Drink well.